Welcome to Same Script, Different Cast, Cuts Act 1. Cuts Act 1 is an extension of the Same Script, Different Cast. I typically do that with Wikipedia, Plot Reader, and Movie Pop-Up. You're with me, SeenIt. I'm going to go over the next episode of American Horror Story 1984, Season 9, Episode 7. This one's called The Lady in White. Just to remind you, there are only 9 episodes in this season, so we're getting down to the final ones. And actually, Episode 9 is called The Final Girl, so we'll see how that wraps up. We start off in 1948. We see an American Horror Story regular or alum, Lily Rabe. So she was in Asylum, in Coven, Roanoke. She's been in pretty much, if not all, almost all of their seasons. In this season, she plays the mother of Jingly Jr. and his brother Bobby. She's the cook at Camp Sunshine Beauty Golden Star. And we see that the way that she speaks to a young Jingly is emotionally abusive. They're sort of passive attacks, because she'll talk about how he doesn't go out, how he's reading comic books, comparing him to his brother. Like, why can't you be more alike? That's emotionally traumatizing on him. She's not hitting him, but she's making him feel less confident and doubting himself. The brothers then go for a quick swim. Before they leave, the mom does ask Jingly to watch out for his brother. So when they get there to go swimming, Jingly loses track of Bobby because he goes off to be a warrior.
Tommy, how's the peeping? Tommy, how's the peeping?
To watch some camp counselors who are also supposed to be lifeguards watching the children have a little makeout session. What's it called? A prom night's promise? Just a tip. So he's watching that. And then we hear a splash in the distance. So Jingly Jr. stops his watching. Jingly Jr. goes back to investigate the sound and to look for his brother. At this point, I really thought that the brother, Bobby, died, just like Jason did. Drowned. Camp counselors were off doing camp counseling things and let the boy drown. But then he pops up. Bobby is like, ha ha ha, I'm still in the water. He knows how to swim. But then these two guys are starting a motorized boat. I don't know what it's called. Motorboat. Not that type of motorboat. Bobby is accidentally killed by the boat propeller. He dies. So the mother hears of this and comes over. She blames everyone in the vicinity. Like, she is screaming and you can just feel her pain. She screams in Jingly Jr.'s face, the lifeguard's face, and she's saying that she blames everyone. But did she blame the little man from inside the boat?
Let me save the little man from inside the boat.
The men that were inside the boat, did she blame them? And I just feel so horrible for Jingly right now. Poor baby Jingle. This is how Mama Voorhees started. Mama Voorhees did that. She went on a murder spree for the camp counselors. This is the path that Mother Lavinia goes after. So Lavinia, I did some research on Lavinia. So there is a Lavinia in Roman mythology. She's the daughter of Latinus and Amata. She's the last wife of Aeneas. These words, these names. But she's the only child of the king, and she's quote-unquote ripe for marriage. And she's been courted by many men who hope to become the king of Latinum. So I don't know if this is where they got the name. They just thought, maybe the writers just thought Lavinia. Pretty name. Let's put that in this episode. And now we're going to cut to present day 1989. I feel like it's 89. Yes, because Donna just saved Brooke from her execution. So these are the adventures of Brookes Dun. Brooke is going through a mean detox because of the potion or whatever it was that Donna gave to her, the reanimator type serum. She got the shivers. Brooke breaks out the knife and she's asking Donna, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to help me? You strung me up as some sort of serial killer bait umpteen whatever years ago. And Donna is trying to make amends. She tells her she's trying to make good. She messed up in the past and she's trying to remedy that. So Brooke is like, okay, that's cool. All right, I'll put the knife away. Then Brooke sees the banging ass concert flyer and she says, we gotta go. We have to go to Camp Redwood to this concert. I need to see Margaret. I've been locked up. I've been counting my blinks for hours. I've been reciting rap lyrics and living out movies in my mind. It's been hell.
You don't have to go back to Redwood.
One day in the sun doesn't erase 5 years of darkness.
Dawn is also trying to get Brooke to eat, for her to sleep. Donna just says, you know what? Let's just get out of here. Let's just go and have some fun. And she takes Brooke to the skating rink to relax. They run into McDermot, Delrundy.
Tell us who it is. That's right, it's time for...
Who was in the first season of American Horror Story in Murder House. And he's watching them. Then we actually meet him. He approaches Brookes Dun, tells them that his car broke down, he's trying to bum a ride. He is quickly denied. Then as they go outside, Brookes and Dun, they realize they have car issues. Bruce comes over, fixes the car, and they agree to give him a ride. But they do abandon him on the highway after he tells the flashing lights, gang initiation, flicker the lights, the urban legend.
Today we get more specific. This is what we call an urban legend.
Gang members drive around at night with their headlights off, and when someone goes to flash from their high beams to warn them, they kill him.
Trying to freak them out, and there's also a fishy story about his girlfriend, and he reveals that he knows Donna. He says her name. They pulled over to leave him there, and a cop comes to their rescue. He asks if they're okay, and Donna says, "We just met this fool." Bruce shoots the cop, and the ladies pull off immediately. Bruce double taps the cop. So I thought at this point that Bruce was maybe a take on Ted Bundy, but we found out later that he's just a wannabe. He actually compares himself to the Night Stalker and Ted Bundy and speaks of how he would like to have as many murders on his bullet. Later in the episode, Bruce does track down Brookes Dun. He steals the police vehicle and rams them from the back. And he kind of sort of like the Hitcher, he ties Donna to the car to be dragged. But in the Hitcher, I guess it was a little different because the person, their arms were like their body, like their top half was tied to a truck and their bottom half was tied to another truck, so that when the trucks pulled apart, they would have pulled the body apart. So I guess this is actually a little bit different, but it did remind me of the Hitcher, how she was tied up. Brooke outsmarts Bruce. He actually wants her to drive forward to take Donna with them, since that's how she's attached to the vehicle. Instead, Brooke drives backwards really fast, makes him hit his head. She grabs his belly gun, which she saw, and she shoots him in the leg.
Where do you psychos keep coming from?
Brookes and Dun actually remove his thumbs so that he can't hitchhike again. They leave him for dead, tied to a pole. Brookes and Dun make their way to the camp on foot. So now we have adult Jingly. He does make his way back to Camp Redwood following the murder of his wife and having to send his son Bobby to live with his aunt. So there, Jingly encounters the Jingly imitators, and they want to kill him for killing them. They're all ghosts. The sad imitator reminds the other two imitators that Brooke said killing is a no-no until the concert. So the imitators, they take Jingly back to the rest of the counselors' ghosts. Remember, Xavier was hurt by Jingly, he was put in the oven, and Ray was decapitated.
To willingly come back? Well, that makes you even more deranged than we thought.
You have to let me go.
You killed half of us here, remember?
Jingly tells them that the Night Stalker is alive, but he's got the devil's juice, the devil's blood, his juju all up in him, and he's coming to the concert. They explain to Jingly how it feels to be dead. They can feel fear, pain, pleasure, and a constant feeling of emptiness and longing. There, time does not exist. Years go by like minutes. There are no consequences for killing in the afterlife, and that's why they want to have a killing spree at the festival. 2 murders from the last episode got so much attention. A whole slew of murders will bring paranormal folks wanting to investigate, and they can find out why they're stuck in purgatory or this curse and get the hell out. Then Dear Chat, he talks about how they are terrorized by another lady ghost who wears white. Jingly seems familiar with the reference and says that it's his mom. After the death of Bobby, Mama killed all the counselors of the camp, and Jingly discovered it one evening. And she actually went to go kill her son when he came into the camp and he saw all the other dead counselors. After Jingly killed his mom, her blood spilled out, contaminating the righteous soil. The camp was shut down and then opened years later under Camp Redwood. Jingly asks, how can he see her? Can he see the woman in white? Can he see his mom? And Xavier takes Jingly to her cabin, her spot. There, Jingly does get a chance to talk to his mom, and she reveals that she's been there the whole time, watching him, missing Bobby, actually looking for Bobby while she's there. It is then that we found out that she Ouija whispered into Margaret's ear and manipulated her into committing the murders at Camp Redwood in 1970. And it was to make Jingly suffer for Bobby's death. So Mama is saying, it was me this whole time. I orchestrated it all. So Mama, she is a witch, a white walking witch, the Vavitch, whatever. She's a horrible, horrible woman. And I don't understand how she just loves Bobby so much and just doesn't give two shits about Jingly. So now we're coming closer to the day of the concert. Margaret, Trevor, the band, and also the assistant, they arrive to Camp Redwood. Trevor sees a vision of Montana off in a distance and he follows it into the tall grass. When he sees Montana, he's just like, I thought you were dead. And she was like, well, yeah, I am. And he's like, I don't even care. I guess they do it or they have you pet something. Because then we cut to the Night Stalker. He steps on the scene crispy and clean. You can try, but then why? Because you can't intervene. And he kills the rock star. The assistant to Margaret doing rounds and just making sure everybody's okay because he seems to have some sort of a welcoming basket with fruits and things. And he sees the entire band is sliced and diced.
What fresh hell is this?
And you see the Satan symbol in full view. Then we cut to around this same time we see the white Vavitch, or mom, talking to Jingly, who's sitting on the pier. Jingly talks about his son, the love for his son, and that he named his son after Bobby. He said, the Vavitch white witch tells him to go and be with his son. He's got the devil on his side, speaking of the Night Stalker, and Jingly doesn't have a chance with that type of supernatural power. The Vavitch hints to him, in order to save yourself and not succumb to the power of Satan and the devil, that he needs to take his own life to kill himself. He made this deal with the devil, and the Night Stalker is here to collect that debt. It's at that time that Jingly does that. He kills himself in order to return as a ghost and exact his revenge. Whew, that was a good one. At the end of every episode, I'm just like, what? He killed himself, he's a ghost, now what? It's exciting. What is going on? This is a total change. I really like Jingly. What the hell? Look at that character arc. What the entire hell? So I ask whoever's listening, have you watched a movie where you could not stand a character and then ended up liking them, loving them, understanding their point of view, understanding their backstory, empathizing with their plight? For me, that was Thanos. I'm sure there are other antagonists out there who became protagonists to me towards the end, but that's the only one I can think of right now.
I ask you, to what end? Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining me for Same Script, Different Cast Cuts Act 1, The Lady in White. Until next time.
A thinking.